Today on Brilliance Business TV, we have Christine Marie. Christine is a medicine woman whose mission is to use her intuitive healing gifts to guide and hold space for others to unearth their true divinity as she empowers them to heal themselves. Stay tuned. Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. Today we have a wonderful guest, Christine Marie Heals. We have been through a traumatic couple of years with a global pandemic, so some healing will be great right now. So we have a great conversation coming up today. I just want to make an official shout out to our show sponsors, Dreamweaver, Artist, Ranch. We are streaming live on mspnewsglobal.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and we're also on the E360 TV network under Fresh Takes, going out to Apple TV, Fire TV, Android, Roku, and many more. And we're also on Business Innovators Radio Network. So let's bring in our incredible guest, Christine Marie Heals. Welcome, Christine. It's great to have you on the show.
Hi, Mark. Thank you so much for having me. I feel like it's been a long time waiting for this conversation, so I'm really, really grateful to be here.
I'm really looking forward to a conversation with you. So can you share a little bit about what inspired you to start your journey into becoming a medicine woman?
Yes, there's been many things that have inspired me, but essentially the biggest thing was, I would say about 4 years ago, I hit what I would call a rock bottom, a dark night of the soul moment. And I'd struggled a lot with mental health issues and a lot of other physical ailments as well that stem from the mental health issues. And I honestly was just in a state of misery and depression and sense of like not wanting to be here, not wanting to live my life anymore. And when I hit this rock bottom, this dark night of the soul moment, I heard this call that came. It was like a call that came from within, but also from um, a higher sense of
I hear
consciousness.
you.
Yeah. And it told me, like you can either continue to go down this road of misery or you can take the other road and start to look within with all the things that you haven't healed yet, all the traumas that you haven't faced, all the pain that you've been running away from. And it was like I had two choices. I could take the healing, my own healing in my own hands, or I could be, I would say, under this lens of victimhood and not really taking ownership of my life and my path. So when I started to take the power in my hands to heal myself through these various modalities that I now help other people with, once I started to do that, I realized just how sovereign, just how powerful, just how divine I am, and how each and every one of us has that same light within themselves. They just have to be reminded of what that truly is. And it's about going into the darkness, into the shadows, into places that are uncomfortable, allowing them to be seen, allowing yourself to embrace and to release and to really take inventory of what those are, and then you get to alchemize them and turn them into wisdom for yourself and others. And that is
Yes.
what I do.
I hear you. I think sometimes when you go through really traumatic times, really dark moments, relationship endings, breakdowns, they can really be a catalyst for really moving forwards. I know when I went through a bad breakup, I had a big spiritual awakening, which took me on the journey that I'm on today to create a whole new, different future. So we do have a lot of commonalities there, and also mental health as well. I'm a big advocate of mental health. So just describe to us, Christine, a little bit what it is that you do and what does it mean to be a medicine woman?
Yeah, so I consider myself a medicine woman with a medicine bag full of different tools and modalities that I use, but essentially I am certified in Celtic shamanism. I'm a holy fire Reiki master. I was previously a bedside nurse, so I have Western medicine knowledge, but I don't practice it anymore. I practice more holistic health. And using these tools of shamanism and Reiki, I can also bring in my intuitive gifts as an empath and a sensitive person, where I get to read the energetic field of another person. And when I get to do that, I'm opening up as a channel between the spirit and the spiritual world and the physical world. And then from that channel, I get to gather medicine and wisdom and knowledge, stream it through my own consciousness and present it to the other person. And that is using a myriad of different modalities, hypnotherapy, taking them into present life regression, ways in which they can meet themselves and their shadows and their blind spots so they can be revealed and then released.
I hear you, and hypnotherapy is very, very powerful. I love hypnotherapy. I'm a big fan of that. So it's great work. Excuse me. It's great work that you're doing, and I think we all need some kind of healing from past traumas, for things that are buried in our subconscious that we don't even know that are there, because sometimes you just don't know that they're there, do you, Christine?
No, absolutely not. And that's why, yeah, having a guide or a mentor to help you along the way is so important. And what I've really noticed too, what I want everybody to realize is like our external experience in this physical world is a mirror of what's happening inside. So if
Yes,
internally or like externally, you're feeling like you don't belong here, you're feeling like you're being judged and criticized, and there's just like a lot of negative connotation that you have with your physical world. A lot of it is just what's happening inside, and and it's so liberating when you get to a place to where you can start to peel back those layers and release those subconscious, thoughts or traumas or programs that we've adopted and gone through since we were born and even in previous lifetimes.
and I know you launched a book, Breaking Free. What was your experience that led you to write the book, Christine?
Well, speaking of, breakups and relationship endings, when I was in my early 20s, I was in a really toxic, abusive relationship. And of course, when you're in something like that, again, it's like we don't we don't really recognize what we're in until we're out of it. And when I became out of this relationship, I was just so distraught. I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of anger. And what that relationship also taught me was that it was like it represented pain that I experienced as a child in disguise. So it was just kind of like mirroring back a lot of the wounds that I hadn't healed from, like from my childhood. And so that was like really what led me to break open and feel like at my rock bottom of being in such a tumultuous relationship. And then I started to have to build that loving and compassionate relationship and trustful relationship with myself. And in doing so, I wrote every day. I wrote every day everything that I was feeling, everything that I was trying to let go of. And just honestly, it was like an honest letter of healing to myself. And then I realized how breaking free could not only help me heal, but it could help others heal.
Yes.
And so that's where I got the ping to begin to share it, and I published it last year. And it's just a book. It's just a book of poetry about my self-healing journey.
Nice.
And it's been really, really liberating to finally have that out and have it have a purpose of its own.
You shared a lot of vulnerability as well. So why did you feel the need to share all of those vulnerabilities? I know the importance of sharing our vulnerabilities. Why did you choose to share a lot of vulnerabilities, and how did that make you feel afterwards?
It was a really, really tough process. However, I knew that the more we know this, the more vulnerable we are with ourselves, with our stories, with our experiences, the more we give permission for other people to be vulnerable. And in
Yeah,
vulnerability is where we feel connection. It's where we
I
feel
agree.
hope. It's where we feel like what we've gone through, that we're not alone in those processes and in those experiences. And I would have shortchanged myself hadn't I been so vulnerable, because I would have been leaving pieces out of the story that were so impactful in my journey.
That
And so
can go on to help so many people.
yeah, yeah. And I just really wanted to inspire other people to expose like the marrow of their bones so they can see that who they are is worthy, who they are is beautiful, who their inherent beingness is like is important, and it matters, and everyone's story matters.
And when you share your vulnerabilities, it allows people to connect with you more, because they can see you're just the same as them, that they understand you because they may have been through similar challenges as well. Christine, I've enjoyed part one. We're just going to a commercial break, so please stay where you are. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for part one of Brilliance Business TV. We're in conversation with Christine Marie Heals. Stay tuned.
Hello everybody, Cyberchuck 2.0 here. I'm so excited to be able to share my vision of Dreamweaver's Artist Ranch. They say you can't choose your family. Not only am I saying you can choose your family, you get to thrive with your family here at Dreamweaver's Artist Ranch. It's a place for like-minded individuals to come together to share experiences and gain experiences, not only through workshops, through performances, and through exhibits. This is a place where you can disconnect from the outside world and reconnect into a community of people that there is no judgment. There's only support. And this place is an amazing place to grow and to tap into your highest potential and to be able to show off all your talents. This is a place you can come and network and really thrive. I'm so excited for Dreamweaver's Artist Ranch. This is a place where dreams actually come true. I love you all so very much. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.
Welcome back to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. Today, we're in conversation with Christine Marie Heals. Christine, welcome back.
Thank you, Mark.
Did you always know that you were a healer, Christine?
I've known since I was a child. And that's what actually led me into going into nursing school and becoming a nurse for the earlier part of my 20s. When I was 9 years old, I had a near death experience where my right lung collapsed and I almost died essentially. And I woke up from surgery and I remember seeing what it was like angels around me, and I remember seeing the nurses that took care of me be angels, and I also remember seeing and connecting to angels that were actually like in the cosmic world. And what I knew from that moment on was that the pain and the suffering that I had just endured, like I was like, I want to be that. I want to give back to the world in the ways that I was supported. So since age 9, that was my beginning.
I too have had spiritual awakenings. I looked up at a cloud when I was going through a lot of breakup, feeling really down, changing direction because of a breakup. And I remember looking up at a cloud and it clearly formed like a baby's face and smiled and winked at me. And it was like a vision, but it was a proper spiritual awakening. I've got crystals. I was really doing lots of spiritual research, so I'm with you on all of this. Tell us a little bit about the clients that you serve and work with and the products and services that you offer your clients in a bit more detail, Christine.
Yeah, so I work one-on-one with clients in person and virtual. I also offer healing circles where I'll bring in shamanic journeying and sound bathing, so using crystal bowls. And I have a co-facilitator that I work with on that, and we host those on full moon evenings in the Portland, Oregon area. I also offer programs, which one of my programs is called Breaking Free, Your Self-Healing Journey. I offer a lot of different ways in which you can connect to yourself and learn how to become your own healer. But yeah, an example of a client that I work with right now, she has actually been on the same journey of going through a really hard breakup and having a lot of sadness and depression because of that. And what we're working on is claiming back her power that she subconsciously gave away to another person. And that when we subconsciously give our power away to somebody else, we feel a sense of self-worthlessness, a feeling of depression, a feeling of powerlessness. And
I
so I'm
hear
helping
you.
her reclaim her own power.
And when you give your power away, if you're used to being in control, it is not a nice feeling either. So,
No.
yes, I totally get what you're saying. What are some of the challenges that you faced in the leap of it when you leaped into becoming a medicine woman?
Honestly, it was allowing myself to step fully into my gifts as a healer and to really release old versions of myself that
Yes,
I identified with back then that I no longer identify with anymore. And we forget that when we are transforming and we're answering the call to our destiny, our purpose, our mission in this world, that there's a lot of grieving that has to happen with old versions of ourselves because essentially they're dying
yes.
and we're being called to something.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness, like an acceptance of not living your life based off the same old patterns that that were comfortable, but actually were not serving you. So it's like allowing yourself to really embrace the growing pains spiritually, mentally, and emotionally.
It's very, very important to do the self-work, self-improvement to really help to move forwards into a better reality. I am very spiritual. Sometimes I lose it and come back to it. You live a spiritual life. I'm wondering, how has living a spiritual life been of benefit to you? How have you benefited?
Honestly, it gives me meaning. It gives me something to wake up to every day, and it makes me feel like I do have a purpose in this world, and that I'm always connected and I'm always supported and I'm always guided in this physical reality. And the more that I am connected to that spiritual side of me, the more that I am able to see and bear witness to the miracles that are coming true. And the more that we give gratitude in these miracles and in this abundance and in this joy, the more that the universe delivers. So it's like having a really beautiful relationship and dance with the universe, with higher states of consciousness in order to make your life more fulfilling.
I am with you. We're on the same page. Can you share a few of your lessons and challenges that you're currently in this very moment working through?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of inner healing work to manifest my true desires, and I with my knowledge and my awareness and with my own journey, I am knowing that we must go into the place, into the wound or the shadow of what it is that we want to manifest in order for us to actually manifest it. So an example would be I really wanted a healthy, conscious, loving partnership, like been wanting that for 7 years, and there was a part of my subconscious that really believed that she didn't deserve that. Like, I didn't really deserve a healthy, loving, conscious partnership. But I wanted it so bad. And so, what I had to do is go into my psyche essentially and do the work as to where are these limiting beliefs coming from? Where in childhood did I believe that I was unlovable? Or where, what patterns did I see my parents play that had showed me what, how negative a partnership is? Like, there's so many layers to why we are not attracting what it is that we truly want. And so last year, I've been doing the work for a while, but then I got really serious. I was just like, no more, no more. I'm done with sabotaging my own happiness. And so I really started doing the work. And then 2 months later, I found my now partner that I'm completely just so happy with. Like, and it's not like he brings me happiness, of course, but like we bring happiness with to each other, and we show up fully in doing our work and being vulnerable and sharing our fears and sharing our hearts and opening ourselves to love. And that wouldn't have happened had I not really been doing the work internally. Like, you start to attract somebody that's on your vibration. So
Yes,
if I'm on a lower vibration, I'm going to be attracting people on that lower vibration. But the more you raise your vibration, the more you'll meet somebody there.
yes, what
And
you're saying makes sense.
and so right now my challenge is to be comfortable with all the joy and the love and the flow that I'm feeling just in my life and my business and in my world, because I was so used to being in, you know, a lower state of vibrational feelings, or just feeling like, you know, just in a depression or melancholic state. And so, yeah, embracing the joy is a challenge.
I get what you're saying. Sometimes we want something that's over there and we want to be there straight away with the person we are here in the present moment, but sometimes you have to grow into that person that you want to become over there, or the reality you want to go to that's over there. And sometimes that does take a little bit of time or a little bit of self-improvement, self-worth. But I'm really happy to hear that you found happiness, and that is a beautiful story to finish up the conversation today. Now, Christine, I know you offer a gifted connection call. What is a gifted connection call?
Yeah, so a gifted connection call with me would be about a 30-minute call to connect and see where you are at on your own self-healing journey, and to see how best I can support you moving forward in that. So it's really a moment for us to meet, get to know each other on a more personal level, and see how I can best support you in your life.
I would say to anyone out there, if you're struggling with any issues, any parts of your life where you feel some healing work would be of benefit to you, if you're into spirituality, you want to get some great knowledge, some great support, please reach out to Christine Marie Hills. You can connect with Christine on Instagram, which is at Christine Marie Hills. That's at Christine Marie Hills, at Christine Marie Hills. Or you can go to her website, which is christinemariehills.com. christinemariehills.com. Christine, I have thoroughly enjoyed having a conversation with you today. Thank you so much for coming on to the Brilliance Business Show.
Thank you so much, Mark, for having me. It was such a pleasure, and I cannot wait to connect with you again.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you, everyone, for watching Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. Today, we've been in conversation with Christine Marie Hills, medicine woman. Until next time, bye for now.